In this video, we're going to learn how to make this simple, easy base. It's just the basic sanded base to get a new painter going, to get his army to be very cohesive. You only need a few things from your hobby store. Basing sand, like this, some flock, some wash. I'm using Agrax Earthshade for this, and then some PVA glue, white glue, or Elmer's glue. A couple of old brushes, and really that's it. So, come along and let's learn how to make this and get you going. And all right, let's get going. All right, so let's get going. First of all, we're just going to put some glue into our paint palette, and then we're going to thin it down with a little bit of water. Just using an old brush for this. That way we can avoid ruining anything really nice, because sometimes when you're doing this you end up getting pieces of basing sand inside of your brush, and so yeah, just use something old. So just get a couple of brushfuls of water, mix it in really good, and see how it's kind of running a little bit. That's kind of consistency you want. So we're just going to take our brush and we're going to put this onto the base. Just spread it around really good. And just cover the entire base area where the basing sand is going to be. And it's gonna, flow, and it's really not a difficult thing to do. Okay, rinse off the brush. And then some people will sprinkle the sand onto the base, and that's perfectly fine. I personally prefer to dip it. Just take it, flip it upside down, wiggle it around inside the sand just to kind of smush it down into all the gaps and cracks. And see, it looks like we got fairly good coverage. We're going to have to add a little bit to these areas where we didn't get full coverage. And it's okay to not get complete coverage, because we're going to cover that up later with the flock. So, yeah, you have to add a little bit of glue just to make it stick. Just make the sand stick. When you're using a brush like this, it's easy to just dip it in and just add it into just the spots where you need it. Then you can just, put it in there. And then you just grab a little bit of the sand, sprinkle it where you need it, right where you want it, and then you get some really good coverage. Make sure you get it spread around, and then we're just going to let this dry. Alright, so give that plenty of time to dry. Give it about half an hour. And as you can see, there are still some places where there's not coverage, but that's okay. We're going to be addressing that in just a little bit with some flock and some wash. So the flock we're going to use is just some nice summer flock, and then the wash is going to be Agrax Earthshade by Citadel, and the wash is kind of going to act kind of like the glue for the flock. Now, the reason we wanted to let this glue dry before we washed it was so that the sand would be held on there really good. You can see it's very firmly in place. It's not going to be falling off, and that's great. So we are going to use wash just to make it kind of look, just give it a little bit more depth. And I'm going to put it into the paint palette rather than going straight from the pot, just because we're dealing with a lot of dirt, and I don't want to get dirt into the wash and make it just gross. So yeah, I am just going to use, again, I'm going to use a old brush, and just really put a lot of wash onto this base. You can see I'm kind of using a stippling motion, and I'm going to just cover it up, and I'm going to use more wash than I would normally need. And again, that's because the wash is going to be absorbed up into this flock that we're going to be putting on here in a minute, because it's going to actually hold that flock in place. So you can see just kind of getting it all over. It also helps to disguise some of the areas where it didn't get quite as much of the basing sand as other areas. So you can see I'm just taking my time, getting it all over into all the little spots. And so I'm just going to sit this down, and I'm going to grab the flock, pull it over here, and I'm going to grab a nice pair of tweezers. Now the tweezers just help me get some flock out of there and put it onto the base. If I got any moisture on my fingers, it'll stick to my fingers, so I know the tweezers are going to be a nice, easy way to grab it without it sticking to me or anything else. So I am going to kind of target the area where I'm missing some sand. So I'm going to put just a little bit, just kind of grab it, and I'm just going to put it straight onto there, just kind of drop it, let it fall kind of naturally, and it's going to look really nice. I'm going to make just a few little clumpy areas where I can just make the base look really nice. Really give it a little bit of diversity and also cover up my mistakes from before. It really is simple. I mean, you don't get much easier than this base. So you just, do it the way that looks good to you, as much or as little as you want. You can see I'm leaving a good sized area here for miniature to stand. Because I'm putting this on before, I'm going to have to pin the miniature on. If I put the miniature on and then baste it, it probably wouldn't require pinning, depending on the miniature itself. And so go ahead and just make it look the way that you want, the short base, and go ahead and make it look the way you want. So there we have it, a finished base. I did my entire first army with bases just like this, and it looked pretty good. So I just encourage you to finish bases like this and put them on your miniatures, because it'll just round them out and give them that finished look, make them look really nice. Thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you have any suggestions for new painters, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. Like the video and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.